Okay, if you did not tune in for yesterday's video, stop right now, go back and watch it, and then come back and watch this one because it's all part of a theme. And I really think you should start with the first Sanderson sister. And today we are making the second Sanderson sister. But before I tell you which one it is, hello, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And yeah, we are continuing on our witchy thing making stuff today, and we are making Mary Sanderson, which is awesome. So as I said yesterday, I am super duper into Hocus Pocus and the Sanderson Sisters. And last year for Halloween, the Soap and Clay Kidlet #1 actually went as Mary, and she already has crazy hair, Soap and Clay Kidlet #1, right? But she decided to not rat's nest her hair into a big, and she got to wear this crazy wig that like Mary Sanderson, right? With the big crazy black hair and has the, yeah, and it was amazing. And we are modeling a bar of soap after Mary, and that will include the big crazy hair. Now, honestly, this might be the hardest one that we're doing in the Sanderson Sisters line because we are going to go so high with the soap piping, right? So I am curious to see if I manage to, you know, make it the right way, or if her hair completely just like cracks off and is destroyed in the cut. So let's stop talking about it here and go see if I manage to mess it up.
Oh, what is going on here? I'm totally starting the video at the wrong time. I'm not showing you like the lye and the emulsifying and the... Why am I not doing that? What? Oh, right. So this video is a little long, right? Because we have multiple kind of things going on. So I cut out the mixing of the lye solution with the oils. But, you know, if you want to see that, go to literally any other video that I've done, because that's usually how I start these things, and it's kind of freaking me out that I didn't do it. So now I'm all discombobulated. Yeah. What's up, guys? It's day 182. We're making Mary Sanderson, which is cool. And that's exciting. So I am working with a three, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 layers. It's for the purple and the orange and then also the black, but then we're doing a secondary batch of just a smaller batch of soap for the, you know, piped top, really, to do her giant hair, because Mary has that crazy big hair. And so these bars are going to end up pretty tall when it's all said and done, which is cool. I like tall bars of soap. Now, with the scent blend that we used for this, this is actually a dupe of Bath & Body Works Flannel. And the reason that I selected that was because when we were making the costumes for all 3 of us for Halloween for last year, I kind of let all of the girls pick out their fabric. I let both the girls pick out their fabric for their costumes. And when we were really studying Mary's, you know, dress and attire and everything, there's a lot of different colors that go on in hers. So she has brown and purple and orange and red. And also she has like a flannel underskirt. Well, you know, kind of cover skirt, whatever. And so I thought it would be cool to sort of nod to that, because I was not going to do like an argyle or a flannel pattern in this. No. And then I got to just kind of arbitrarily pick the 2 colors that I liked the most from her, you know, outfit, really. So purple and orange it is. And so the flannel scent blend is actually pretty cool. It's a bergamot, mahogany, and like a dry down of like baby powder. It's really delightful. It's a nice unisex scent, I would say, for sure, but also smells very clean. And so I dig it. I think it's cool. And again, I literally only picked it because I had not used it in soap before, and I wanted to at some point, but it was named Flannel, and Mary has flannel on her dress. It's all a thing. So the kaolin clay is mixed with the scent blend for this guy, and as you can see, like with the kaolin, it doesn't ever fully mix in with your fragrance oils, and so you end up with some graininess in your design. I personally love the extra texture that comes from doing it that way though, and so unless I'm really wanting a very smooth bar of soap with no additional, texture really, I will usually disperse my kaolin in the scent itself instead of water. But also, if I want glycerin rivers, I definitely do it in water because that's awesome, and glycerin rivers are amazing. And I talk about glycerin rivers way too much. I'm not actually that obsessed with them, I didn't think, until I started doing these videos, and then I realized I kind of am obsessed with them. I guess that's my thing. Well, the pour that we're doing today is definitely not my thing because layers, not a huge fan, and piped soap tops, definitely not a huge fan. I don't really like the look of them in general, like all of the unicorn explosion things, and I don't like the extra step of all of the things. It's not my style, but for Mary, I think it's her style, so it has to be done. So we're gonna do the damn thing. Let's go pour this. Now this pour is going to be the purple base, and then I'm going to do just right down the middle of that purple, I'm going to pour in some of the orange, much like if you're doing a lotus, right, or a teardrop. But usually with a lotus and a teardrop, you're actually layering multiple colors on top of themselves in the middle of the bar, and then you would take a skewer to it and do the thing. We're not going to do that with this one. It's just going to be a little bit of orange down the middle, and then I'm just going to randomly take a hanger to the soap that's in the mold and sort of mix it around in there, and I don't know, get the orange to sort of blend into the purple a little bit more. Not to necessarily mimic maybe the opening of the dress at the waist per se, so you can see like the petticoats and the underskirts or whatever. More just to have some orange represented in the bottom portion, because Mary's costume is all over the board. Like seriously, go check it out. Go watch the movie again and tell me how over the top her costume is. It has all of the colors and all of the patterns and it's amazing. And so I kind of wanted the orange to be incorporated within the purple, as opposed to just doing like a really stark, line of here's purple and here's orange. And then also the rest of the orange is going to go for her bodice, because it could go either way. It could also be brown. Her outfit is amazing, and actually making it for the Soap and Clay Kidlet last Halloween was so much fun. Like, it was great. It was this kind of, because she got to pick all of her fabrics as well, right? So I just let her free reign for all of her fabrics. She can do what she wanted, and she ended up picking some very interesting fabrics. She did some cotton, she did some flannels, but then she did that like stretchy type material too that was see-through and play. It was so crazy, mixing all of these different like textiles, but like it came together and it looked perfect, because Mary's outfit in and of itself just kind of looked like it was, sort of cobbled together with whatever was about, and that's great. So I'm not going as hardcore into that for the design, because obviously for the Mary bar, the hair is going to make it or break it, and so no pressure for me, for someone who hates doing pipe tops. That's not fair. I don't really hate doing piped tops, right? It's not terrible, but it's an extra step that if I don't have to do it, I probably won't. And really the reason why I don't, do them is because I don't really like the look of them. Unless you're doing like a very obviously like a themed thing, like Mary, for example. I just don't, I can kind of do without the pipe tops, but I don't know. I prefer the more adult kind of looks, unless you're going, you know, campy and crazy, like, you know, Hocus Pocus, for example. So this black portion will be set down to make up like the base of the hair, and we are going to be just piping everything on top of this guy as soon as it's set up a little bit. So you don't actually have to wait too terribly long between this and making your next batch of soap specifically for the piping. Now, for the batch that I made for the pipe soap, it's just a small batch of soap. I think it's I don't know, like, oh, total weight maybe 2 pounds of soap, you know, when it's all said and done, so not a lot. And for piped soaps, I know people get super complicated with it. I don't. So here's what I do. I just do a regular recipe, like any normal oils, like the exact oils that I used in this soap, for example. That's what I used. I took it to medium trace, and then I put the Pyrex off to the side, and I just let it sit for 10 minutes. And that's what it ended up being, was that really thick consistency that you can totally pipe. Now, in the bag itself, I laid down a little bit of a red in the bag, just to give the bar something to sort of connect it to Winnie, in case the colors that I've done for the purple don't immediately connect it. And super not necessary, but also the Sarah bar has, you know, the red in it. So I'm just trying to tie all 3 of the bars together, essentially. And then, you know, scrape them up, do the thing. It might not even show. We'll see. And then the piping of the crazy hair just is going to begin. And my angles are terrible. You can see nothing. I totally should have turned this, or maybe piped it from the other side of the table. Okay, well, there it is. See, there's layer 1. That's cool. And now I'm just going to continue going over the exact same dollops that I made. And I'm using a really cool, like, flower petal tip for my bag. And I'm really irritated at myself for doing that. Oh, look, I flipped it around, so maybe you can see it a little bit better coming this way. No, you just still see the bag. I should have put it, you know, horizontally instead of vertically in the shot. I'm sorry. But yeah, so I'm just adding more and more soap batter to the top of it and really pulling it up. As you can see, the soap batter pipes beautifully. There is nothing wrong with it. There's no need to ever do a super fancy batter and, you know, whatever for your piped soap. The easiest way to do it is literally just make your batch of soap. Oh, it's not moving if I shake it. That's cool. Just make your batch of soap and get it to like a medium trace, and then just walk away from it for like 10 minutes. And in that time, it will firm up enough to stand up on itself, like, you know, frosting, like something pipeable, as you can see. I mean, nothing is falling over. We don't have any. It's great. So yeah, there's a good pro tip. If you're interested in the piping of the soaps, you don't need all the extra steps. Just do it this way, and it totally works. And this is me putting on the micas that I super sped up because this was such a frustrating process for me. I cannot get that little flippy brush technique down that Georgia May does so beautifully well. I can't do it. And I sped it up a lot because I was irritated with how much of like a noob I look in this whole thing, and was thinking the whole time I should have just gotten out the powder duster, right? The little spray thing. That would have been easier, but I would have complained about that anyway, because that's what I do when it comes to mica lines. I complain. It's kind of my thing. This is ready for C-pop. Let's go put it in the oven, and then we will cut it and see if the hair falls off, really. Now, cut day, and it was C-popped, so we did force this through gel, which is awesome. And look at that. That is one hot mess of craziness. I had actually sent a picture of the top of this to Mr. Soap and Clay at this point and asked him, you know, what is it? And he responded with coral. And I went, shit. But, you know, he didn't see the bottom of the bar. He just saw the top. And also, what coral is black? I'm not, is that a thing? Like, whatever. But the cut, oh, that's so good. Oh, that is so amazing. Oh my God. Yeah, look at that with the crazy hair. And the crazy hair did not fall off. We did not slice through it. That is amazing. Oh my God. Yeah, so that was my biggest concern with all of it. And I don't know why I'm concerned about it. Like, I've never actually had an instance where the tops have fallen off with a pipe soap, but I still get nervous. That is so cool with her crazy, crazy hair. Oh my gosh. And I like the weirdness that it did in the middle. It kind of looks like it could be the stays for like a bodice. So that's cool. That's beautiful. And yeah, the scent blend actually, I had never worked with this in soap before, and it didn't do anything terribly weird to the batch. And also the scent blend really, it was very strong after the first, 12 hours of saponification. And that's usually my indicator, right? So once it's time to cut, if your bars are still basically as strong as they were when you did the, when you smelled them straight out of the bottle, they're not going to fade too terribly much over the next, however long. So this one's a good one. It's definitely one that has some really good staying power, which is good to know. I don't know under what circumstances I'll ever use it again, but it was definitely fun to use a blend that I did not make and that I have never worked with. I find that to be exciting and cool, and it adds a different level of everything could go wrong, which is also exciting and cool because I like that. And I love that. And I really like how the kaolin clay that was mixed in the black portion has some like gray bits in it, because Mary's hair is interesting, right? Like the older she gets, the more grayed out her hair becomes. But then when she's, young or trying to suck the souls out of children and the lives, it gets darker and it has the purple streaks. And so this represents all of that really, which is really cool. And it's definitely something that I wanted to see in the finished product. And I'm glad that I, achieved that. But honestly, I could have gone either way. I could have done just like a peppered, crazy hair, or I could have done a black and purple crazy hair. But I wanted to do both because her hair really does change a whole bunch throughout the movie. And it's just one of those little subtle things that you don't necessarily notice. And I really do love the swirls that went on with the orange into the purple. That was very cool. This is so exciting. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, I've mentioned 1 or 90 times that I super love Hocus Pocus, right? Like, it had this big cult following, which, can it be a big cult following if it's a cult whatever. Anyway, I was one of those people who totally followed it. I have loved this movie since I was a little child, and that will never change for me. I was really excited when my kids were finally old enough to like get into it as well. And now they are, and so that's great because like October is upon us, which means we get to watch a whole bunch of Hocus Pocus. And that is at day 182, the Mary Sanderson bar, and it's exciting. We've got Sarah, we've got Mary, we only have Winnie left, and we are so far 2 for 2, and so Winnie's going to be great as well.
Of course I didn't mess it up. Oh my God, Mary Sanderson, I was never going to let that one be terrible. Ever. And it's super not. It is an awesome bar of soap. I love the hair with the purple. Putting that mica on there was not a lot of fun though. So I had to actually ask Georgia May how she does it. And she uses a much bigger brush to, put the mica on. And so I will try that the next time I want to top something with some beautiful mica, which may never happen again. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that is the Mary Sanderson bar. I hope you guys had a good time. Thank you so much for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. Tomorrow is going to be the third in the Sanderson Sisters installations, and you can only guess what that third is, really. So, even though subscribe, you'll be notified when I drop it, and you can come back and see what I did with Winnie, really. Again, thank you so much for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I appreciate all of you. I look forward to doing these video things every day, so it's cool that, there are other people on the end of this camera that appreciate seeing them. So thank you again. And that is it for me for today. I will see you guys all again tomorrow. Bye.